You are locked into another episode of the Sick Podcast Steeler Crazy. It is officially NFL draft week. Man, oh man. And the Steelers, a lot of question marks, and we'll jump right into it. Aaron Rodgers just appeared on the Pat McAfee show. I am Jay York Football, as always. And alongside of me, Mic'd Up Sports One with that Yinzer, you're yinsed out over there. I love it. From sunny South Florida. It's going to be 80 degrees. I always feel like I'm like Joe DiNardo or like Jeff Brzella over here. Just like, the weather dictates my mood as we get, we're both in our mid 30s now. So definitely good weather, get some vitamin D. I know you're in South Florida, so go ahead and rub it in.
I guess Aaron Rodgers dictates my mood, and a lot of people in
Yeah.
do, when no matter what the damn weather is. If you're watching this or listening to this before you hear any Rodgers news, you live in a hole or on a darkness retreat, like Rodgers himself. Throw out a couple quick bullet points before we get to our guest. It was like 40 minutes. Probably 30 minutes was a bunch of nothing. He said he's dealing with a ton in his personal life, which is why he doesn't want a 100% commitment to a team just yet and give his full heart to them. But he also debunked the Vikings theory that he was begging to go to them. The Giants are obviously out. It kind of just sounds like it's the Steelers and nobody else. He said he had a great convo with Mike Tomlin. They're continuing to talk. He flew into a Pittsburgh airport, a secret airport, maybe Latrobe.
Maybe the Monroeville one. I know Big Ben. There's one in Monroeville as well.
Could be another. He drove a Chevy Malibu undercover to the practice facility. He said he wanted nobody to know and do it quietly, but of course it got out. But he also said that he loves Arthur Smith and then the quarterback coach, Tom Arth. They worked with each other in Green Bay. So signs mostly point to Pittsburgh, but it's Aaron Rodgers. Who knows what the heck he can do? Maybe he'll make a decision like 2 days before week one of the regular season, and we'll see if the Steelers still welcome him with open arms. But I know that was quite the ramble, but I want to give everybody an update, at least from my perspective. It literally just ended. So let's get a big-time draft perspective. Maybe we can ask this guy about Rodgers, too. We're excited to bring on our guest, Shane. Go ahead and roll it.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Steelers Crazy.
Aaron Smith shields. Flacco, Polamalu takes it home. Super Bowl 43. Pittsburgh might be bound for that thanks to number 43.
The sickest Pittsburgh Steelers podcast. Sports entertainment like no other. It's gonna be sick.
This man, he's a lead draft analyst, Pro Football Network. We love them. He's also a podcast host, does a lot for the Chicago Bears. We will let him plug those, of course. Let's bring in our guy, Jacob Infante, at Jacob Infante 24 on X. How are you, Jacob?
I'm doing great. It's a fun time of year. NFL draft's only a week away, so the anticipation's growing. So I just want the next 7 days or whatever to just fly by at this point because I'm not a patient man. So it'll be a fun one.
Yeah, I'm kind of sick of reading first-round names at least over and over and over and over again. All right,
Yeah.
Are you a Bears fan or do you just cover the team? I'm just curious.
No, so I'm a Bears fan.
Okay.
First and foremost, I'd say I'm going to be the fourth generation Bears season ticket holder. So back when my great grandparents used to go when they played at Wrigley Field in the 40s and 50s and all that stuff. So unfortunately, I didn't have much of a choice. That's where I adopt the blue and orange.
The reason I ask is because you can't be very fond of one Aaron Rodgers.
No, that's putting it lightly.
Safe to say. All right, it's a good quarterback transition for me. Obviously, the Bears are set with Caleb Williams. You're not scouting quarterbacks whatsoever, but you have been, I'm sure, and obviously the Steelers market. So I just want to kind of go down an order of guys who are not named Cam Ward because obviously he's going to be off the board at pick 1. What are your thoughts on Shedeur Sanders? And is he, maybe having this seismic fall that's been kind of speculated?
I mean, maybe. I think the fact that the Browns are, seemingly they're not going to look at a quarterback at 2. The Giants bringing in Russell Wilson and bringing in Jameis Winston, they're, at least for this year, they're set. They don't necessarily need to take a quarterback, and, they'll be in a good enough position where they could just take pure best player available. I could still see Shedeur going number 9 to the Saints. I mean, obviously, I think that's, from a Steelers perspective, I think that's the big competition. If you do want Shedeur to fall there at 20, I think if the Saints don't go Shedeur, then I think there's a good chance that he's there at 20. But you never know. Obviously, with Derek Carr coming off an injury, they don't really have a long-term answer there. I mean, they brought in Spencer Rattler last year, but he wasn't great as a rookie. So I don't really know if they consider him to be the next face of the franchise. But yeah, I think there's a chance Sanders falls a little bit. I mean, he's obviously a first-round pick. You turn on the tape, you see the accuracy, you see the toughness, you see the ability to make those full field reads. I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, he's got a crazy good arm or he's an insanely good athlete, but he's a good distributor of the football. And I think that in the right setting, in the right system, I think he could lead a team to, consistent playoff contention. So I think that, especially in the case like a Steelers team where they've got a really good roster, they just need to figure out quarterback. I think that'd be probably the best landing spot for him, honestly. So if he falls, we'll see. I don't know enough to say if there are rumblings of the Steelers trading up in front of the Saints, but I think number 9, that's going to be the real spot to watch, at least for Steelers fans, for Shedeur.
Yeah, I think as Steelers aficionados or whatever you would call us, the Steelers just don't have the equity to do that. So I'd see that as very unlikely. If anything, I think they would stick or move back. I'll hit you with 2 more quarterbacks before Gordon takes over. Tell us about Jaxson Dart and Jalen Milroe.
Yeah, so I have Dart above Milroe. I think that, Milroe's tools are out of this world. I think he's got a really good arm. He's an insane athlete. He's got a good build. But in the aspects of being a quarterback, I still think he's a pretty big work in progress. I think the accuracy isn't quite there. He forces a lot of throws. Certainly, a talented project type of quarterback. I'd say if the Steelers do get, if they sign Aaron Rodgers, they start him, for the entirety of 2025, then I think that'd be, honestly, totally fair to be like, oh, let's take Jalen Milroe. I know there's my understanding they've got, a little bit of a deficit in terms of draft capital surrounding the first round. I'd say Milroe is more of a day 2 guy, but if they feel strongly about Milroe and they can get a deal done with Rodgers, I don't hate that. I do think Dart's a better player, though. I think at this stage he's more accurate. He's got a lot of zip on the ball. He's mobile. He can move. He's not a Milroe level athlete, but he's still pretty dang mobile. I think that he's going to be another type of guy who can he's got a little bit of. I'm trying to think, like there's a bit of moxie to him.
Bo Nix vibe, right?
Yeah, like that same sort of deal where it's like, all right, maybe he's not the most intimidating guy, but he's got some zip on his throws. He's tough mentally and physically. I honestly do like Jaxson Dart if the Steelers stay put there. I think that's probably the area I'd go down. There are other positions as well, obviously, you can consider there, but if you're going to go quarterback in round 1, realistically, I think your best bet is staying put and taking Jaxson Dart.
Well, Mike, I think you tweeted this earlier about Isaiah Loudermilk because I don't really know what's going on with the Steelers right now. Larry Ogunjobi obviously went to the Bills. So let's talk about some guys that could be on the Steelers draft board. Kenneth Grant.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Kenneth Grant. I think I'm generally kind of higher than the consensus on him. I think he's a dude who can really defend the run super well. Strong anchors, 330 pounds, low to the ground. He's tough to move around, heavy hands. And I also think he's a much better athlete than most guys his size. Like a lot of these nose tackles, just in general, not just in this class, but they don't run super fast. They don't have a lot of agility. I think Grant's a much better athlete than your typical nose tackle, or one tech, depending on, the system. But I think Grant would be a fantastic addition to Pittsburgh. I think that he's someone with a high floor as a valuable run defender, and him next to Keanu Benton going forward, I think that'd be a really fun duo.
Yeah, I like it too. Derek Harmon.
Yeah, so I think Harmon is a totally different archetype of defensive tackle. I think he's quicker. He's taller. He's got longer arms. He's a more valuable pass rusher, but he's not as good against the run. So I think it's going to matter more of what you value. I mean, today, in a passing league, naturally defensive tackles who can rush the passer are going to be higher or valued at a higher premium. But I do like Harmon a lot too. I think, like I said, he's quick off the ball. He's got long arms and he knows how to use them, how to keep him, offensive linemen locked out from, at the point of attack. So he's someone I think, and that'd be good value there too, in the early 20s. I think that, that's probably that's around where I have him on my big board. So I think, if you want a little juice up the middle, little guy, a big dude who can rush the passer, I certainly think that could be an option as well.
Yeah. Talk about the depth of this running back class. Obviously, we know how deep it is, but just a few names that really stick out to you and maybe someone that the Steelers could snag.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is just me looking at it from an outsider perspective, but I look at the Steelers right now. I think Jalen Warren's a pretty dang good back. I think he's, he's underrated, perhaps, honestly, as far as what people think of him nationally, but you're going to need a power back. You're going to need someone to fill that Najee type of role, someone who can, run the ball in between the tackles and be that short yardage type of dude. I know a popular name I've seen a good amount is Cam Scadaboo, the running back out of Arizona State, in like that round 3 kind of range. He's someone where, not the best top speed, but he's powerful. He, he busts his ass whenever he carries the ball. Just, has the ability to just run through a dude. He's someone I really like. So, I mean, I'm prioritizing more power backs. I don't know if you guys think that's the move necessarily, but I'm looking like that, 3rd round or early day 3 as a potential option for a running back. I mean, Ollie Gordon out of Oklahoma State as well, someone who, fell a little bit, but super productive in 2023, big bodied, another power back, long strider type of dude. DJ Giddens is another name I like as well out of Kansas State. I think he's someone who's got a little bit more juice than the other guys, but, still someone I think is, flying a little bit too much under the radar, if that makes sense. So those are just a couple guys that I like, around round 3 or maybe a little bit later. I do think it's a really good running back class, though. I mean, obviously you've got your top guys and, I don't think the Steelers are going to go running back round 1, but somehow Marion Hampton falls or, they're really high on Judkins or Henderson or something like that, then, who knows? Those are great players. I don't think they go in that direction, but either way, I think it's a really talented class from top to bottom.
You guys are going to attack that,
Yeah.
And is Hampton too high for you guys? Or too high? Not good value? I should put it
I mean, I think 10's a little too high for him. I've got Hampton, I think 17th on my board. So I mean, that's not like a terrible, like a massive reach, but I feel like there's better value elsewhere. Honestly, I mean, I'd prefer if you trade back and get Hampton, that'd be fantastic. But at the same time, I think it's going to be tough to trade back in this class just because, I don't know, there aren't too many like blue chip prospects, and the teams who are in position to pick them aren't going to trade out of that. So, yeah, I mean, I'd love Genty at 10. I'd really like Genty at 10. Hampton at 10, I'd be cool with. I could definitely talk myself into. A little steep for my liking, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Certainly not the the worst draft pick the Bears have made since I've been alive. So, I mean, when you compare it to like Kevin White or whatever the hell, like it's that's a pretty low bar. So it'd be better than that, I feel like.
Any big surprises? Then Mike, you could take it just off the top of your head. And I kind of know a lot of the draft guys that we're on. I know that they're, this is probably the craziest draft, the most unpredictable, at least in the past that we've seen. So it's definitely going to be interesting. Yeah,
no, totally. I mean, I don't think it happens, but I think it'd be crazy if Jalen Milroe went round 1. I think everyone would like lose their minds.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's impossible. I mean, the NFL, like, they invited him to Green Bay for the draft, and they only do that for guys I think are going to go round one. Maybe you get a team like in the, early second round, like the Browns or the Giants or something. They want to move up a couple picks late into round one, get that fifth-year option, and then, move up for Milroe. They can sit for a little bit. Would I do it? No. But I think some team might. So it's going to be interesting for sure. And so much relies on the quarterbacks in this class. I think there's, Cam Ward's the top guy. I think, and I feel pretty strongly about that. But Shedeur and Jaxson Dart, I think, are in a tier. And then I think there's a little bit of a drop off. And then you get your Jalen Milroes, your Quinn Ewers, guys like that. But I don't know, man. It's the quarterback situation is going to dictate a lot in this draft. I feel like I wish I could say like definitively like what I think is going to happen, but I'm going to be honest. Like it's a crapshoot, honestly.
Yeah, I get it, Mike.
Jacob, where can everybody find you? What you got coming up?
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter, X, at Jacob Infante 24. I do articles over at NFL Draft in general. It's Pro Football Network. My Chicago Bears stuff is over at Windy City Gridiron. My draft guide is available on my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jacob Infante, just my name. It's my whole draft guide. It's all my entire big board, scouting reports, 7-round mock drafts, player comparisons, stuff like that. So fun stuff. Put a lot of work into it, which just shows how sad my personal life is, but whatever. God. I don't know why I said that. So here I am. That's all I got.
You're living the dream. We're talking football and you're getting, money for talking and writing about football.
Exactly. Like, hell yeah, dude. Yeah.
We're living a dream.
Badass. Thanks for coming. Thanks, Steelers.
We really appreciate it.
Here, so we'll have you back before that.
Of course. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me.
Take care.
No doubt. Yeah, super quarterback heavy show, obviously, with the Rodgers news and the fact that Shedeur was just in town for a pre-draft visit, the Milroe smoke. Man, well, I'm interested to see what unfolds. I know that I'll be breaking some stuff down next week for everybody, giving my final mock draft. And, like you said, it's a crapshoot. I was on defensive lineman for so long and starting to feel like it might be a quarterback in play at 20 or if they trade down. So, hey, man, let's just enjoy it, I guess, at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. It's honestly, life in general has just been a blur, but this time of the year, it's nonstop. And just really appreciative. It's great to have, all these draft guys on because they all just give different perspectives and they're just so knowledgeable. And, obviously we know a lot, but these guys are like, almanacs when it comes to this stuff. So very appreciative. We're going to keep cranking out. Like I said, next week, it's gonna be crazy. So excited. Make sure you subscribe. I'm Jay York Football. Alongside of me, Mic'd Up Sports One. Another great episode of the Sick Podcast, Steeler Crazy. We'll see you guys soon.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Steelers Crazy on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.